Hello, good evening, and Jai Hind. I'm Major Mohammed Ali Shah. It's my proud privilege and honor to be in conversation with a lady who is, I don't know what to say. इतना मैं अगर डिस्क्राइब करना चाहूँ तो फिर मैं पूरा ही वक्त निकल जाएगा उनके बारे में बात करते करते. I've been a great admirer of hers from the mid 90s, ever since Mrs. Salma Ansari was in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and I was a little child at that time. And my father was the defense attaché to Ambassador Ansari at that time. So, who needs no introduction at all? She is a renowned social worker. She has worked passionately for the upliftment of the deprived section. And of course, and now we have the International Women's Day coming up on the 8th of March. So, what better than just not even a week to go? And I am in conversation with Mrs. Salma Ansari. Well, she also happens to be the wife of the former vice president of India. Though she has her own identity, that's rather I would say Mr. Hamid Ansari is the husband of Mrs. Salman Ansari. I would rather put it this way, ma'am. Ma'am, Jai Hind, and thank you very much for taking your time, ma'am.
Jai Hind. Very nice talking to you, and I think you have made my head swell so much. I don't know whether I'll be able to concentrate or not on what you're going to say now. But yes, I have known you as a child, and you have done very well in life, I must say, and shaped up far better than anybody expected. And now that you say such nice things about me, I have to return the compliment and say, well done, and go ahead and conquer the world
Thank you
with
very much, ma'am.
words, not with weapons.
Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. That's so nice and so kind and so sweet. You also happen to be the mother of my childhood friends of Usman and Nuria, in fact. So it's something. It's a double privilege for me, to be in conversation with you, ma'am. Ma'am, let's start with you have a school in Aligarh which is doing exceedingly well, and it is really a lot of
Yes,
people
yes.
swear by the name, and a lot of people want their children to be educated there, and you have looked after so many children. Let's start about the inception of the school. आपको ये आइडिया कैसे आया? क्या ये हमेशा आपके जहन में था कि एक स्कूल शुरू करना है and you want to work towards education? How did it? Tell us about this journey, ma'am.
Actually, Hamid was posted to the Middle East very often. And when we went to Jeddah, when Suleiman was only, I think, 4 years old, there was no school for him. So I started Jeddah School, which is now Indian Embassy School, has 13,000 people. It was actually started for my son because the community had no school. And then, of course, in Riyadh, there was no school for the handicapped, so I started a school for the handicapped. And to run that school, I started a proper school. So whatever money we made, we would put it into the mentally challenged kid. I I had always worked with education in my mind, and wherever we went, we always found in the Middle East that there were no good education uh, facilities for the community. So there were five schools which I had already started before coming to India. But in India, it was a different story. And the story is कुर्सी की कहानी नहीं है, घोड़े की कहानी है. कुर्सी की कहानी लोग कहते हैं बिकॉज यू वर उनकी बीवी थी यहाँ वाइस चांसलर की, तो आपको स्कूल चलाने शुरू करने में इट मस्ट हैव बीन वेरी इजी फॉर यू. बट नो, इट वाजंट लाइक दैट. I I I wanted to learn writing, and to start for the vice chancellor's wife to start to learn writing was a great. People were very unhappy about it, but I did. Then I fell down 3 times off the horse. Now, those
Oh,
falling down
oh,
was the best thing that could happen to me, because once I fell down in the Khila, which in Aligarh, everybody knows it. And Badmash, that horse, looked at me. I fell down, looked at me, and then walked away. And all these different children and people from the family of the Malis came, and and they were very nice to me. And I started to um, have a bond with them because I said, "आप पढ़ते नहीं हो, आप स्कूल नहीं जाते हो, नहीं हमारा कुछ." And the second time it happened in a field, and again there were kids and the mothers, and they all came to help me up. And luckily, I never broke my bone or anything. But what it gave me an insight into the poverty of the people, which I had never seen before. Because when you're in the foreign service, you go and you say, India is shining, India. When you come, you go to Delhi, you shop, and then you go away with this, that India is shining and everything is okay. For the first time, I saw and understood the depth of deprivation in the villages and how the children were suffering because they had no recourse to education. And that was something that haunted me, and I said I have to do something about it. And there was no money, nothing. These kids were so poor they couldn't afford to give any fees or anything. So I said, okay, fine. Then free education for all. This was my slogan, and I started this Phila school with this, that I'm not going to charge anything, and everything is going to be free. I thought it was a good idea. I thought people would come forward and help me out, but it didn't happen like that. Anyway, to cut a story short, the response from the poor kids was amazing, and I needed funds, and I didn't know how to go about it. So I started going to people and explaining to them that look, education is the only thing that will help this community, and especially the Muslim community, which I found was really in the depth of darkness of no education system. And but few people, came along, and few people didn't. But we made enough money to be able to start a school. Then it became so powerful. I had to start a second one and a third one. First one was Kila Public School. The second one was called Chacha Nehru because I asked the kids who were sitting over there and said, "What should we call it?" And they said, Chacha Nehru. A small girl got up and said, Chacha Nehru. So I said, why? Why Chacha Nehru? He says, Chacha Nehru बच्चों को बहुत प्यार करते थे. So, so it was spontaneous. The Chacha Nehru School came, and then Al Noor Public School. Now, how it became a madrasa, that's another story. What I want to tell you is that the core of my knowledge about the slums came because I was riding a horse. I went to places where a car can't go. I saw things which you cannot see from a vehicle. And I walked around, sat with them, talked to them. The men were not ready for women to be educated. So I talked to them. They said, "No, our girls are not going to study." I said, "But why? What? Tell me a good reason. Give me some reason." He said, "No, kya karenge wo? What are they going to do? Is that you teach them how to write, how to?" So I said, "They'll improve themselves." नहीं, वो तो अपने यार को खत लिखेंगे. I said, यार को खत लिखना कोई ऐसी बात तो नहीं. But at least, I mean, he didn't understand the joke behind it, but he got very angry. But anyway, the thrust of the whole argument is this, that my um, greatest problem was that I could not convince the Muslim women nor men. And unless they came along, the schools wouldn't have taken off. But at some point, when I went and sat and then talked to them in the houses, I understood that unless I win the trust of the men won't come along. I had made a mistake earlier. I had just talked to them about family planning. And my security guard said, मैडम उधर मत जाइएगा वहाँ पे मर्द खड़े हैं, डंडा लिया आपको मारने के लिए. So I understood that I had made some few mistakes. I stepped on a few toes. So I stepped back and went back with a different kind of a message, just addressing the females. That look, you are very powerful, and in order to stand on your own feet, you have to have something with which you can make both ends meet. So some of the women understood it. Actually, older women understood it much better, and they supported me. And ultimately, we had a very good response from the women. And once the women came along, the husbands were okay. So
Hmm.
it was the empowerment of, you know, Ali. What surprised me was that in the depths of deprivation, in the depths of poverty, in the depths of misery, and the women were very alive. They never give up. They're multitasking all the time. They're somebody's daughter, somebody's wife, somebody's sister, and they have enormous burden to carry. But they never give up. They're amazing. They fall and they get up and they're ready again. So I said, my God, if they can do that, every time I fall and I bruise myself, I start crying. They have nobody to even wipe the tears. So I understood the power, the strength of the woman, which is very apparent in the lower classes, where if a woman is okay, the whole house is good. The husband may drink, may beat them up, may do all kinds of things, but her commitment to her children and to her house is such that she's ready to accept anything but not let that go. So I concentrated on the woman, and it paid off. My, my first school, madrasa, and now how did it become madrasa? A lot of people ask me why did you call your school a madrasa? I said because we wanted
Good one.
to um, get CBSE
Hmm.
Manyata. And
Hmm.
but they asked her for 75,000. I didn't have enough money to to give to my teachers. I couldn't pay 75,000. So I thought and thought. Then I said, why not approach the madrasa board? So I approached them and said, yes, we'll give you Manyata in 3,000. You can have our registration in 3,000 rupees. And I said, but I'll teach English, science, maths, everything. I'll teach Quran also. I'll teach the theology which is compulsory in a year. Excuse me. But it will be run on my principles. They said, no, we have no
Hmm.
problems. You do it. And I said the language of instruction will be English. And so they had, so we called it Madrasa Chachanel. Now, sometimes you know how difficult it is to convince people that it's not the kind of madrasa that you think of. It's a very,
Correct.
very secular based madrasa. We
Correct.
teach all
And
the
ma'am, in fact,
religions.
in 2019, I remember reading the news at that time that you were all welcoming that in your Chacha Nehru school. In Arabic, we call it madrasa, or school, पाठशाला या विद्यालय को हम मदरसा बोलते हैं वैसे अरबी में. So in 2019, I remember reading the news that you were welcoming. There would be a mosque and there would be a temple over there, and you were just coming on that, ma'am, on the secular lines. Yes, ma'am, please.
No, but you know, Ali, what happened? Why did I think of it? You have to understand that people don't know the whole thing. We have you know, children are very poor, so in the morning when they come they want to have cold water, so we had a cold storage system for them to have water when they came from home. Now I had gone to a legal, and coming back I had this horrible feeling that I thought I'm going to have a heart attack. And I said, what's happening to me? I've been here so many times, I've come back and gone back, and but what's happening to me? And then suddenly I thought of the school, and I said, I rang up the principal and said, go to school, be there till 10:30 and 11, because it was the examination time and children were studying late in the evening, late at night. So he went. Now one of the students said that I'm thirsty, and I'll go down and get some water. When he came down, he saw three people were sitting on this water tank and putting something in the water. And the moment he saw this chap, he took out a katta and said, if you say something, I'll kick you here. So don't make any noise, just watch us quietly. So the boy naturally was terrified. Now, the principal sitting over there in the felt that the boy has been gone for quite some time. What is he doing? So he started to come down because it was just under the steps. And these men heard that somebody is coming, and they ran. And half of those things, which whatever they were putting in the water, was left there. And they gave a slap to the boy so that he couldn't talk immediately. He was so shocked. So anyway, we found out that they had put rat poison in the water,
Oh God.
and it was so lethal that when the children came in the morning, if they had it, we would have, you know, children dying like. And so we called the police, and the police came, and blah blah blah. But the police kept saying कि नहीं आपके स्कूल के बच्चों ने किया. मैंने कहा भैया हमारे स्कूल के बच्चों, how can they are living in the boarding, they were drinking that water, and they'll put poison in the water. But anyway, to cut a story short, I sent sample of the water to Agra lab, and they said it was rat poison, very lethal. The children would have died on the spot. Now, and the best thing is that the police couldn't catch the people. There were three people. The boy gave full description of the people. They were like this, like that. So I said, look, there are a lot of people who are against this madrasa Chacha Nehru. So we are on our own. So we have to do the best for ourselves. So I started putting camera all round. And then I thought my children go out. They small children, they go to the temple. The Hindu kids used to go to the temple, and the Muslim girls to the mosque. I said anybody can kidnap them, take them away. So in order to keep them safe, I said we'll have a mandir and a masjid in the school. And my God, it was like I couldn't have done a worse thing in my life. Everybody targeted me, and
Alright.
the Muslim, because they said, say, how can you keep in madrasa a temple, and how can you have a temple and a mosque together? Not possible. I said, it's a secular country. We have been living together for
Ma'am,
centuries.
ma'am, just permit me. As Sir Syed Ahmad Khan once said, हिंदू और मुसलमान हिंदुस्तान की दो आंखें हैं. एक आंख भी फूटती है तो देश अंधा हो जाएगा. आपको एक बात और बताता हूँ मैम, मैं जिस रेजिमेंट से आता हूँ, रेजिमेंट ऑफ आर्टिलरी तोपखाना, हमारा नासिक में आर्टिलरी सेंटर है हमारे रेजिमेंट का. एक ही स्क्वायर पे मंदिर, मस्जिद, गुरुद्वारा और चर्च, दे ऑल कोएग्जिस्ट टुगेदर in on one square. So I think it was a very, very good idea if you ask me. Yes, yes, ma'am, please.
No, but the thing is that you're an army. I'm a school. And I'm at the bottom of the pyramid because our schools for the poor, nobody supports us. Nobody stands by us. We have to stand by ourselves, knowing that outside there's a, um, uh, a world which can be very nasty to us because we are doing two things. Actually, we are showing people that without money, you can give good education to the children. Lot of schools make a lot of money, but the quality of education is poor. I worked very hard with them. My teachers worked very hard. We really wanted to show that these kids who come from the slums can speak English, can work in English, and can do very well. And the other thing was that we start our assembly with Quran, and then we have Gayatri month, then we have Lord's Prayer, and then the Shabbat. Not because I want to show, I want to impress BJP or any of the parties. I want to make these children good human beings, broad-based, good human beings who understand other people's pain and their problems, and they can go out tomorrow. What the army is teaching you, that spread out your hand to the people who need some help. And if you can make children, if you make them understand that look, everybody has the same blood as you. So how can we differentiate? And a child is a child is a child. He's neither Hindu nor Muslim nor Christian. He's a young child who's like putty in your hand. You mold him in whichever way you want to mold him. So in a modern world where the world is going to the moon, we are still stuck in this horrible mesh of religion and of you, mine and yours and mine. So I wanted my children to grow out of that because they live in slums. Ali, the slum area is, my God, it can be so terrifying at times because the children, once it's really funny. I'm breaking up and I'm telling you a story. I got a letter from the chief minister saying that you have to close your schools from this time to this time because it's very cold and children get sick. I said okay, fine, but what we did, we closed the schools, but we started winter camp. Now, why we started a winter camp? We didn't want to go against the DM's order because in their homes they live in one room and the parents go away and the door of the room is closed. Where do they go? Out in the open, under the tree, what? So that the parents used to tell me कि please आप बच्चों को स्कूल में बुला लीजिए because they're safe. They're in an area where it's not so cold. Not so we started a winter camp, and then they learned something. But even on that, somebody wrote a letter to the education ministry saying that Mrs. Ansari is so much into herself that she's broken all the rules and she's
Uh,
teaching kids. So I rang her. It was a lady who answered me. I said, look, I had this problem. Nobody really understands how poor the poor are. In our mind, we have a picture of the poverty, but we have never gone and we have never seen how they live in the homes, in everyday life. Because once you have that glimpse, you will never ask me like things like that. You'll say, yes, what you're doing is right. You're letting the children come into the school where they're sit in the classrooms and they're doing something positive instead of going into drugs and things like that. Anyway, again, to cut a story short, मेरे खिलाफ फतवा दिया गया
Oh
मुसलमानों ने
God, I didn't know this.
या मुसलमानों ने कहा इनसे बात करना छोड़ दो ये
अरे
हाँ ये मुसलमान नहीं है ये बिंदी लगाती है और ये गायत्री मंत्र सिखाती हैं बच्चों and then there was a this thing in which there was an article and there was a discussion that what is more depth breathing, what does deep breathing does, which one, Allah or Om? So मैंने कहा of course Om. Allah का connotation different है. Om you really bring in from the pit of your stomach, and it is more useful for the body. उस पे एक फतवा आ गया था तो ये this was a second फतवा.
तो ये बताइए मेरे को ये बताइए मेरे को so when you also spoke against triple talaq like many of us do, any right minded person would say that. तो आपका एक इंटरव्यू भी था जहाँ पे आपने बोला कि बहुत लोग हैं जिन्होंने कुरान शरीफ तो पढ़ी नहीं है, वो मुल्लाओं के कहने पे आ जाते हैं and they think that's the gospel truth and they believe that. तो उस पे भी did anyone जैसे आप बता रही हैं, it was quite a उस पे भी अच्छा ओके
मुझे कई चीजों पे फतवा मिल चुका है.
By God, oh God.
मैंने वैसे 10 हज किए हैं. Because being in Saudi Arabia you do it and but
और अनगिनत उम्रे भी की होंगे आपने मैम, अनगिनत
उम्र तो अनगिनत किए. मगर देखो सुनो मेरी बात. अब कल किसी ने मेरा इंटरव्यू दिया करने की तलाक पे क्या मैंने कहा बिल्कुल गलत है. इट्स अगेंस्ट इस्लाम. नोबडी कैन से तलाक और तलाक हो जाए. उसका एक पूरा प्रोसेस है, उसकी एक पूरी वो है. यू कांट गो अगेंस्ट इट. एंड देन दे सेड व्हाट अबाउट 4 शादियां. मैंने कहा 4 शादियां को भी एक स्ट्रक्चर है पूरा. देयर सर्टेन लॉज यू कैन नॉट क्रॉस. लक्ष्मण रेखा का एक वो है पूरा स्ट्रक्चर. एज अ मुस्लिम यू कांट क्रॉस एंड ब्रेक दैट एंड देन गेट मैरिड. एनीवे it is also a lot of ignorance. People don't understand. हाँ, दूसरी बात ये थी कि वो सिविल कोड लॉ. मैंने कहा हाँ बहुत अच्छा है, क्यों नहीं, why not. अब देखिए आपको do you know that a girl, a Muslim girl doesn't get the same portion of the property as the boy. And why not? Why is this? Right when Islam just came, there were a lot of it was a tribal religion. There were a lot of things, but now we are crossed over to a new world, and now girls are working. They're standing on their feet. Why can't they take the responsibility of the property of the father and run it well? They're capable. So anyway, these things I keep getting into trouble because of that, because I refuse to. Then something very, a lot of kids came to me and say, हमको नहीं मालूम ये रामलीला क्या होती. So as a children, I remember we used to go to Ramlila, which were organized by the Chaprasis, my father's, non-working people. And we used to love it because it was such fun. It was like a magical thing. So I said, okay, fine, we'll have our own Ramlila. For the first time in the university, In our school, we organized Ramlila with Ravan and Hanuman and Ram and Sita and the children loved it. And the Panditji who came to do the Havan said such nice things to the kids. And वो स्वाहा जो वो करते हैं ना, the children loved it. They said, ये क्या होता है? मैंने कहा ये अल्लाह की बरकत है. So it was such fun for the kids, and they learned so much out of this. But when I went to Aligarh, I, I had the head of the theology department, very, serious looking Maulana came and sat down and said, आप बहुत अच्छा काम कर रही हैं, आप ऐसा कर रही हैं, आप वैसा कर रही हैं, मगर आपने एक मुसलमान बच्चे को राम बना के उसका मजहब खत्म कर दिया. मैंने कहा मैंने
This was
कैसे
when Ambassador Ansari came as the Vice Chancellor of AMU. तब की बात है ये.
ना जब Hamid was VP.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh
So
my
he
goodness!
said, आपने एक मुसलमान बच्चे को राम बना दिया, उसका तो मजहब खत्म हो गया, वो तो हिंदू हो गया. मैं हंसने लगी. मैंने कहा मैं क्रिश्चियन स्कूल गई, हमको कभी जीसस बनाया जाता था, कभी मेरी बनाया जाता था, कभी कुछ बनाया. मेरा मजहब तो खत्म नहीं हुआ. मैं तो 10 आज करके आई हूँ. मुझसे किसी ने पूछा कि आप ने कौन सा प्ले पार्ट किया था क्या? नहीं. He was very unhappy with me. And no, the thing is, Ali, if you understand something, if you understand that human beings need to come together, otherwise we'll not survive. What we are doing to the world, to the trees, to the birds, to the animals, is unforgivable. Along with it, if we bring in, तुमसे मैं इसलिए नफरत करती हूँ कि तुम मुसलमान नहीं हो. अरे इंसान तो है. इंसान you have to be a human being first. Why can't you be a human being and then whatever you want to be? अगर हमने ये इसमें मोहब्बत का बीज नहीं डाला तो हम कहीं के नहीं रहेंगे. We'll all get destroyed because of the way things are going. Where there is no love, there is no way the country can go up. मेरे स्कूल में अगर कुछ नहीं है, मैं कहती हूँ चलो हमने कुछ नहीं बोला, बच्चों के. But one thing my children know, ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो ही नाम. It's in their DNA हो गया कि हम उनको हर वक्त ये सिखाते हैं कि बेटा love everybody, be affectionate, understand other people's pain so you can understand how to help them, what to do with them. देखो सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि women play a very important part in it. Your mother taught you the first steps of walking, and the first word you say is word of love, not of hatred, not of division, not of. So why can't we build on it? What is the harm? What is wrong? मेरी सबसे ज़्यादा मेरी जो लड़ाई हुई थी एक साहब से, वो इसी बात पे हुई थी कि वो ये कहते थे women have to be told what to do. I said, why? They have their own mind, they have their own knowledge, they have their own awareness, and they are, if in certain ways, much better than the men. नहीं, they don't understand. अल्लाह मियाँ ने उनका दिमाग में दूसरी चीजें डाली. Now, if you want to interfere with God's creation, then what kind of a human being are you? And today the school has a music teacher, has a dance teacher, and martial arts teacher, and the children are doing so well. ये ये slum के बच्चे हैं, and the way they are learning the steps and the, there's fire in their belly. You give them a chance, and they fly like an eagle. Before you can even understand, they're flying in their own power of flying. So that is why education is very important. Love is very important. Coming together is very important. Holding hands is very important. And understanding that nothing can be achieved unless we come together. And this is
Absolutely, ma'am.
and this is what we try and teach in the school. It's called madrasa chacha. A lot of people don't want to give me any money because ये madrasa है, ये तो वैसा मौलवियों वाला madrasa होगा. But it's all right. It's your perception. But by the grace of God and people like you who always supported my school, um, the right people get the message. And we have spent this is our 26th year, and we don't take a penny. The orphanage is free, the uniform is free, the shoes are free, everything is free. The food is in the orphanage is free, and I think my children are doing very well. The We have a understanding with Delhi Public School, and every year they take 6, 7 children from us. They look after them free of charge. It's very kind of them because Pawan Jain had become very involved with me in the school. He had problems with his heart, but even then he used to come and visit people in the slums. He never had to do that. He's a very rich person, but he would come and see. He said, "You have made me see things which I have never seen before." So he has kept that promise. Every year we have from 4, 5 kids going into Delhi Public School, and they're free. They're not charged. Even the uniforms are free. And this year, 2 kids from our school, a rickshawala's children, got 95% in 12th. And after that, one of them sat for a medical this thing. He came through, and another one went to Jamia to do MBA, and he came
Wow.
through. And so you see, it's there's miracle everywhere. You just have to understand that God is everywhere, and therefore there is miracle everywhere. If you are, if you are in love with life, in love with people, in love with being, been given a chance in this world to become a better human being. Because if without evolving, I think it's better for us to die, sit down and lie down. And you have to evolve. You have to come up. You have to say, yeah, I'm today I'm this, but tomorrow I have to be a better person of my this version. So, and this is what education is all about. Actually, it's yes, two and two make four. Very important. But behind this two and two make four is the knowledge of life, which has to be given to the kids. And the knowledge of life comes when you tell them that you are you, and you are a potent force of life which has been created by God. So nobody can push you down, nobody is better than you. What you are, and you can do anything. You can go to any heights if you want to. And I think it's our education. has not concentrated on that idea that I come from a wealthy family, so I can do all this. He comes from a poor family, he can't do this. This is a kind of a philosophy which is being taught in without them knowing that they're teaching it. Because आप बहुत अच्छे स्कूल के हैं तो आप हार्वर्ड जाएंगे, अगर आप वो सरकारी स्कूल के हैं तो आप पाठशाला जाएंगे. तो ये जो no, I don't want to talk about it. It's a long story. It's a long discussion, and I don't want to take too much of your time.
No,
But
ma'am. I'm enjoying hearing you completely. I'm enjoying what you are saying, ma'am.
because for me, I think human beings are immense, and we have not even touched a tip of the iceberg. We are. We can change not only the world. We can change our DNA
Right.
if we want to. But we have to feel the intensity of living. शिद्दत जो होती है ना, the intensity of life, you have to feel it yourself and you have to spread it. You have to tell people that, look, if you're old, you're not dead. Till you have the last breath, life force is with you, and you should try and live every day and light a lamp for life.
Right.
And,
Absolutely.
and you see, with women, I mean, my, what I'm trying to tell the women of this country, they have so much going for them. I have been to so many countries, but I haven't come across a country more colorful, more. Every 10 miles, everything changes. The food changes, the language changes, the smell change. And there are no bars, no limits, no walls. It's a free flowing country which has gone through a lot of problems. Yes, we have had, but there has a time has come where we can stand up and say, look, I'm a woman, and I can I can cross over any situation, any impediment which comes. They have to really, और ये actually Muslim उसमें communities में, because I worked a lot of times in the Muslim communities, वहाँ पे वो because of the फिर मेरा बेफतवा हो जाएगा इस बात को कहने, क्योंकि ऐसे उन्होंने मजहब को ऐसा बना दिया है, हवा बना के रख दिया है कि women are afraid to go against anything which is being handed over to them as gospel truth. And you have to get up and say, no, I can read the Quran, I can read if I can't read the Arabic, I can read the translation. And the Prophet came in the pale of history. We know everything about him. So why can't we learn from him? उनका इखलाक, उनकी तरीक़े, वो किस तरह सब लोगों से मिलते थे, बात करते थे. He conquered people with love, not with hate. So what is hate? Why do we? Anyway, you ask me any question you want.
मैम क्वेश्चन क्या है ये आपसे, आज हमने ये सुना था, ना हिंदू बनेगा ना मुसलमान बनेगा, इंसान का बच्चा है तो इंसान बनेगा. ह्यूमैनिटी केम बिफोर रिलीजन, एंड व्हाट यू आर सेइंग इज सो ट्रू. मैम जैसे कि मजरूर सुल्तानपुरी ने एक बार खूब कहा था, मैं तो अकेले ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल, मैं तो अकेले ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल, मगर लोग साथ आते गए और कारवां बनता गया. And that is your story again, I would say. Ma'am, you mentioned about one of your students going for an MBA program at Jamia, in a university like Jamia. So, ma'am, would like to know आपका inception. Which year did you establish your first school, and then which year you establish your second school, and the third, which is known as a madrasa?
No, no. Actually, what happened was that my first school was in the Qila, under the trees, because we had no furniture, nothing. तो हम लोग उस पे पेड़ के ऊपर बैठ के क्लासेस लेते थे. एंड बारिश आती थी तो अंदर भाग जाते थे, because the university had given us two broken down um, rooms. And but even then the children used to come to that school, because what I did, I mean, let me tell you quickly that people, lot of people ask me, आपके यहाँ लोग बच्चे आ जाते हैं तो फिर छोड़ते नहीं, छोड़ के नहीं जाते. मैंने कहा नहीं, हमारे यहाँ तो, और जब हम एडमिशन खोलते हैं तो हमारे तो सुनामी आ जाती, इतने बच्चे आते हैं कि हमको मुश्किल होता है. तो what is the reason? So I said two, three things. First of all, when I first started, I saw that the girls were not coming. So I went to the to the mothers and said, आप लड़कियों को क्यों नहीं भेज रहे? तो उन्होंने कहा, if मैं अपनी बड़ी बच्ची को भेज दूँ, who is going to look after the other kids? And this lady is sick, she's in bed, and she has at least 4, 5 kids. So it is the picture of reality I had to face. So I said, what can I do? I said, okay, fine. आप लड़की के साथ उस बच्चे को भी भेज दीजिए. ना उस लड़की के साथ एक बच्चा भी आया जो गंदा करता था, वो करता था सब. मगर उस बच्चे ने पहले दिन से ये करना उसको शुरू हो गया कि he has to sit in one place. You know the greatest challenge I faced with teaching the slum kids is how to make them sit down. They came from slums, they never sat down. They did not know what it was to be loved. They were being thrown away. Parents would tell them, go out, go and run outside. So they had no idea how to sit down, how to concentrate. तो उनको half a second के concentration से 5 second के concentration लाने में बहुत मुश्किल होती थी. और उसकी वजह से उसमें मैंने तख्ती इंट्रोड्यूस की. You will really laugh at it. उनको कंटे you know the marbles, they play with marbles. मैंने वो इंट्रोड्यूस किया. फिर पतंग इंट्रोड्यूस की. फिर ऐसी चीज़ें इंट्रोड्यूस की with which they were aware what they were doing. English education में apple, lot of children haven't even seen an apple. तो मैंने एप्पल से कहा कि एप्पल को आप 5 और उनके साथ मिला दो. एप्पल है, मैंगो है, गुआवा है. These are the fruit that the children know. They have seen, they understand, they have touched it. Anyway, lot of such things. जो एक एजुकेशन से एक वो थी उनकी, not knowing what they're doing, not understanding. रेड है तो रेड कलर क्यों है? आपकी पतंग रेड है और उसकी पतंग येलो है. अब आप इसको लड़ाइए, रेड को लड़ाइए येलो से. कौन सी पतंग है आपकी? हमारी लाल है. नहीं, मैंने कहा नहीं, ये कहिए रेड है. अच्छा, ये रेड है. ओह अच्छा. So I had to completely change the awareness of the children away from what the British education was teaching them into Indian awareness of their where they grew up, what they were experiencing. So उससे बहुत फायदा हुआ. फिर एक दफ़ा बच्चा उसमें आ जाता है ना, when he feels at home कि अच्छा ये तो पतंग की बात कर रहे हैं, ये तो कंचों की बात कर रहे हैं, कंचे से खेलेंगे, इसे करेंगे, तो वो फिर भागता नहीं है। और उसी में उसका जो वो है कंसंट्रेशन, वो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता 2 सेकंड, 3 सेकंड, 4 सेकंड, फिर 5 मिनट का हो जाता है, तो फिर बच्चा कहीं नहीं जाएगा। Then the child is you have won the battle. Actually ये मैंने सीखा था कि when I was doing the when I opened a school for the mentally challenged kids. I had no
Okay.
background. I've done my MA in English literature. So this was something which I understood that अगर mentally challenged बच्चे को concentrate 1 मिनट का भी concentration मिल जाता है ना, so it's a great conquest. तो वही मैंने अपने इन बच्चों पे वो किया, I experimented. And I
Hmm.
told the teacher, love is the only weapon you are going to use. Love them so much because they don't know what love is. They, 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 their mothers, their parents don't have time to love them. And come dressed nicely, so they look at you and say, "Oh, ma, isn't our teacher beautiful?" The idea of beauty, the idea of colors, the idea of इसमें अगर your father hadn't helped me, I shall always be grateful. अगर जनरल शाह ने मुझे ये प्रॉपर्टी नहीं दिलाई होती एंड नदीम तरीन ने ये बिल्डिंग नहीं बनाई होती, तो मदरसा चाचा नेहरू वुड बी व्हाट इट इज टुडे। जनरल शाह ने इतना बड़ा काम किया है कम्युनिटी के लिए कि मैं उनका कभी एहसान उतार नहीं सकती, ना कभी ये कह सकती हूँ कम्युनिटी से कि इतना बहादुरी का काम करना। वो जो वो वो जो सिपाही वो तो हैं ही, जो सोल्जर जो हैं ही, मगर ये उससे कहीं ज़्यादा, ये ऐसा काम था कि जिसमें आपको मालूम नहीं है आपका फो कौन है, आपका दुश्मन कौन है। जब आप उसमें हैं, बैटल लड़ रहे हैं, तो आपको मालूम है आपका दुश्मन जो है वो ये है। मगर यहाँ जब आप ऐसी ऐसी बैटल लड़ते हैं, आपको नहीं मालूम कहाँ से कौन आपको मारेगा। But he persisted and he said, no, I have to give this thing to her. And Nadeem Tareen, with all the problems and everything, he created a big building for me. And one of the reasons why Madrasa Chacha Nehru has been able to come up to this much is that the building and the place impacts you. The moment you enter, so हम तो समझ रहे थे छोटा सा मदरसा हुआ काला कुला ऐसा इतना बड़ा है, तो उसका बहुत फर्क पड़ा है। जनरल शाह का माशाल्लाह माशाल्लाह, उनको हमेशा अल्लाह खुश रखे और तुम सबको बहुत उसकी ये सवाब जारिया है, ये हमेशा तुम लोगों के साथ रहेगा कि what he has done for education very few people do, and what he has given to Madrasa Chacha Nehru, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to come up to this man. And along with him, Nadeem Karim came up because they've been friends in Saudi Arabia. So it is, that's why Ali I say that जब दिल के दरवाजे खुलते हैं तो उसमें कहाँ से क्या चीज़ निकलेगी कुछ पता नहीं चलता। ये अल्लाह का मौजज़ा होता है। और अगर आप में वो शिद्दत है, वो इंटेंसिटी है कि आप सोचते हैं कि ये सही है और इस पे मुझे खड़े हो जाना है, इससे मुझे वो नहीं होना है, हटना नहीं है, तो द यूनिवर्स मेक्स वे फॉर यू। यू कैन टर्न द यूनिवर्स अराउंड, बट यू हैव टू पास दिस टेस्ट ऑफ, क्योंकि मुझसे लोग कहते हैं ये बच्चे हिंदी तो पढ़ नहीं सकते, ये अंग्रेजी बोलेंगे। अब तुम देखो हमारे बच्चे कैसे अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं। साहब हमसे देखने आए थे, कहने लगे भाई इनसे कहिए अंग्रेजी में बात नहीं करें, हिंदी में करें, क्योंकि उनको ये लगता है जब कोई मिलने आता है तो मैं अंग्रेजी में बात करें। बट it is you have given me this chance to talk about something which was always at the back of my mind. I always wanted to say to the people in Aligarh, where I studied as a student also, that you have so much to give. Why do you get so tied up into the small, nitty gritty of life, which ultimately comes to nothing? Agar General Shah hadn't gone beyond, आर्मी के आदमी थे, एजुकेशन का कोई उनका वो नहीं था, मगर he he rose over all that and understood what education is about. So today Tata Nehru is where it is.
Ma'am. You on this note, General Shah, I mean, about this organization, this I do. He, Mr. Najib Jang Saab, Sayyid Yaqub Qureshi Saab, and Shahid Siddiqui Saab, Sherwani Saab, they have this organization. So they set up a school in Muzaffarnagar. And जब नजीब जंग साहब स्कूल में गए, उन्होंने बोला कि यहाँ के बच्चे तो अंग्रेजी इंग्लिश मीडियम जो established old renowned English medium schools हैं, probably you must be knowing all this incident. He said they are speaking better English than them. They seem more well dressed than them and more cultured than them. मैम यही बात मेरे को याद आई, तो उससे अल्लामा इकबाल का ये शेर याद आया, खुद ही को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले
इससे
खुदा
पहले
वकील पूछे।
खुद पूछे
हाँ,
बता
जी रजा
तेरी
क्या
रजा क्या है।
मैम।
और
मैम
एक और शेर,
जी जी जी, इरशाद मैम प्लीज।
तू बचा बचा के न रख इसे,
वाह
तेरा आईना है वो आईना, जो शिकस्त हो तो अजीज तर है, निगाहे आईना साज में।
वाह वाह।
जितना जितनी दफा मेरा दिल टूटा है, मुझे हमेशा ये बात याद आई है कि ठीक है, क्योंकि देखो जब जब हम पैसा नहीं बना रहे, सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होती है पैसे की, कि हम पैसा बना नहीं रहे और कल हमें टीचर्स को तनख्वाह देनी कहाँ से आएगा। सो एवरी टाइम यू कम अक्रॉस your challenge, how it is going to happen. So मुझे एक चीज याद रहती थी, जाको राखे साइया मार सके न कोई, बाल न बीका कर सके, चाहे कोई भी बैरी हो, चाहे नहीं मार सके न साइया न, न, मार सके न, I'm forgetting the second line, doesn't matter. जाको राखे साइया मार सके न कोई, बार न भी का कर सके, चाहे 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 जग बैरी हो,
वाह वाह, एब्सोल्युटली
मार
मैम।
सके न साइया, क्योंकि अगर साइया आपके साथ है तो आपको कोई भी नहीं मार सकता, और कितना भी जग बैरी हो आपसे, आपके पैर जो है वो जमे हुए हैं जमीन पे।
एब्सोल्युटली मैम, एब्सोल्युटली।
मैंने इतनी अपनी टीचर्स के साथ काम किया है, एंड आई मस्ट से these teachers are not from very good background, poor background, but they have brought up, this is what I want to tell the women, कि उनको प्रोनाउंसिएशन भी ठीक नहीं था, मगर उन्होंने इतनी मेहनत की है अपने पे। भाई हम तो, हमारा तो गरीबों का स्कूल है, हम तो इतना पैसा दे नहीं सकते, जो एक वो लेते हैं, फीस लेते हैं, वो ज़्यादा दे सकते हैं, हम नहीं दे सकते, हमको तो इतना अपनी चादर तक वो रखना है। So when I used to go to them, I used to say, look, I can't pay you too much. But you have a challenge before you, And you have to understand that if you have something in you, you would prove that you can take on this challenge and prove it wrong. That these kids not only learn Hindi but speak in English and very well. And today, if you go to my school, you see them in uniform, you see them talk, you'll say, अरे ये आपने कहीं टीचर्स खास बना? नहीं, वही टीचर्स हैं, उन्होंने अपने ऊपर इतनी मेहनत की है। क्योंकि अगर औरतें ये समझ लें कि हम कहीं से कहीं पहुंच सकते हैं, if they understand that nothing is impossible for them, no power in the world is that they cannot achieve. तो हमारे टीचर ने तो ये प्रूव करके दिखा दिया आपको कि हम जो भी कर सकते हैं अगर हमारे अंदर जज्बा है।
ट्रू मैम, ट्रू। मैम, आपसे गुफ्तगू में 1 घंटा कहाँ बीत गया मेरे को मालूम नहीं पड़ा बिल्कुल भी। I was so lost in what you were speaking and hearing you. I had promised you, in fact, 1/4 of this. I won't take much of your time, ma'am. Ma'am, इतना मजा आया, trust me, I really enjoyed listening to you, every bit of my conversation with you. And before we part ways and before I let you go, ma'am, any last message from your end you would like to throw out in the universe, ma'am? It could be for children, it could be for parents, it could be for teachers, for anyone.
And the only thing which I have learned from my life and from being in the Liga as a student, then coming here as a Vice Chancellor's wife, then coming here is that the only emotion which is worth cultivating is love. If you have not cultivated love in your heart and in your soul and in your being, then you can't be called a human being. Love is
Very well.
the only power on this earth which can conquer any ugliness, any violence, any depredation which war brings. So if we all learn to live and learn to love and learn to be there for others, then this universe will live. Otherwise, we'll all die. Otherwise, we'll all perish in a. What's happening around is that in that fire of hatred, which I feel in a country of Mahatma Gandhi and in a country of Buddha and Ram and Krishna and Shiv and Muhammad, we need to give this to them in return, that you have brought us so much of awareness. Now we can give it back to you by following your teachings.
Absolutely, ma'am. Ma'am, yes.
I hope that satisfies you.
Ma'am, there is a small letter which I prepared for you. In fact, when you gave your consent yesterday, I said let me just try to impress you slightly with this. And since you have stayed long in America, in fact, the 16th President of America, Abraham Lincoln, wrote this letter to his son's teacher, which I'm sure you must be familiar with. And it's a message for your teachers and your parents and your students of your school. So he wrote, when his son was starting school, Abraham Lincoln wrote, "My son starts school today. It's all going to be strange and new to him for a while, and I wish you would treat him gently. It's an adventure that might take him across continents, all adventures that probably include wars, tragedy, and sorrow. So, dear teacher, will you please take him by his hand and teach him things he will have to know? Teaching him, but gently if you can. Teach him that for every enemy there's a friend. He will have to know that all men are not just, all men are not true, but teach him also that for every scoundrel, there is a hero. For every crooked politician, there is a leader. Teach him that 10 cents earned is of far more value than a dollar found. In school, teacher, it is far more honorable to fail than to cheat. Teach him how to laugh when he's sad. Teach him there's no shame in tears. Teach him the wonder of books. But also give him quiet time to ponder about the extreme mystery of birds in the sky, bees in the sun, and flowers on a green hill. Teach him to have faith in his own ideas when everyone else tells him they're wrong. Try to give my son the strength not to follow the crowd when everyone else is doing it. Teach him to listen to everyone, but also to filter all that he hears on a screen of truth and take only the good that may come through. Let him have the courage to be impatient. Let him have the patience to be brave, because only then will he always have sublime faith in mankind, in God, in himself. This is the order, teacher, but see what best you can do. He is such a nice little boy, and he is my son.
You see, you have already negated everything I said. Right in the beginning, you could have said this, and I didn't have to go through all because this is exactly what education is all about.
Yes, ma'am. True, true.
Man, but you know, let me tell you something. It's very difficult for to teach love and gratitude to people who have had a very tough life. I've understood one thing that the, the kind of life we face in the slums makes you so immune to a lot of things because that's the only way you can survive. There's no other way. So to cut that wall across and get them out and say that look, there is another world which is beautiful and which can take you to that is something which is very tough. And when I used to tell my children, my teachers that don't even touch them with, be very, very kind to them because they have experienced nothing but the big parents beat them up, the outside world beats them up, and they're pushed around, and nobody celebrates their birthday. Nobody. So it's a world which makes you very, very hard inside. And to break that, the well-to-do children are, they're special. Their world is special. They don't have that kind of ugliness that they have to face right from childhood. But these children face ugliness to the nth core, which is sometimes very, disturbing. And when I have you know, cases in which I have to decide what to do, throw the child out, or, then I have to really go within myself and say, look, if I were that child, because they have no light in that tunnel. And when you have no light, how do you show them light? What you said is beautiful and it's universal. But they are also children of the darkness, which have not known that your smile is a smile of warmth and love and not you'll try and show them that they are from the gutter and that's where they belong.
Very true, ma'am. Very true. Ma'am, I sincerely thank you for your time. It was wonderful being in conversation with you, ma'am. बहुत ही मजा आया, मैम. शुक्रिया बहुत बहुत, मैम, अपने वक्त निकाला. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank
Jai
you
Hind,
very
ma'am.
much for giving me this time and this because I was sorting out a lot of things. That's why I didn't want to talk to you. I wanted to talk to you when I had some peace of mind within myself, because we were facing a lot of financial problems and people were going through our records and things like that. So now I have a little more peace and little more. So thank you very much, and that's why I wanted to say, go through this interview, but it wouldn't have been so easy and not so eventful as it is now. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, thank you very much, ma'am. Really enjoyed. Jai Hind, ma'am.
Jai Hind, Jai Hind, Jai Hind.
Just